Okay, so I know this is a sensitive topic. It was for me. It still is for me, and that's breastfeeding versus bottle feeding, or some combination of the two. Um, I went into the hospital. My doctor said to me, "The baby chooses, not you." So I went in very open-minded. I ended up breastfeeding for 14 months, but it was really hard for me, especially in the hospital. Like, I almost gave up many times. So first of all, what's your take on breast versus bottle?
Okay, so my take on breast versus bottle is pretty much my take on life. I think every person has the right to choose what is best for them. My hope is that people would surround themselves with enough information and with people that they trust to come to a place where they feel confident in the choice that they're making, instead of just hearing from a doctor here and there, or a Google search or a blog post that breast is best, or don't kill yourself, the baby will choose.
Right.
I mean, that's what upsets me. But
So-
yeah, you should know.
When I was in the hospital, I felt like it was very much like kind of forced upon me, even though it was what I wanted to try to do. And at one point they said my son was losing weight, so one nurse came in and said, "You have to supplement with formula." And then another nurse came in and took it away. And I was, in hysterics because, like, what do you do? And I ended up supplementing. I did. And again, like, I breastfed for a long time, but like, I had this feeling from people, especially from other moms, that like, oh, like, if you supplement, like, then why are you breastfeeding? So how does that work?
Okay, so we need to put the judgments aside. I mean,
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I've been a mother longer than you have, but I know that the second you're a mother, you get this feeling. It's like,
Right.
let's stop judging each other. How about that?
Agreed.
Because it's hard enough. We don't need other people, like, looking down at whatever. I could go off on that. But as far as breastfeeding is concerned, the most important thing, I encourage everybody to do this. If you even think you want to try to breastfeed, please don't assume that you're going to get this amazing help in the hospital. It could happen, it may not happen. It's like so many other things that you wish for and they just never pan out. So get a lactation consultant before you ever give birth. That is my biggest piece of advice. Start a relationship with somebody, make some phone calls, find the person that you connect with. Know that they will not necessarily be on call for you, but that you could reach them.
I didn't even know
pretty
you
easily.
could do that.
Absolutely, 100%. And then, after you give birth, my feeling is, even if things are going really well, just make a quick phone call or text to this lactation consultant and say, this is what's going on. I think things are going great. And they might say, great, let's check in again when you get home. But if things are not going well, they can at least either through phone, or I don't know if they're allowed to come to the hospital if there's already a lactation consultant there, but if you want to keep in touch with them and communicate with them, you have somebody already.
Well, because I know at the hospital, I had to wait a long time, I remember, for the lactation consultant to be there and to come. And she wasn't there when I, was really in that confused time. And by the time she got there, it was not a good situation.
I know. And it's nobody's fault, really. I mean, you didn't connect with her, whatever the issues were. But if that's how we know, and you know from experience now, that's how it works in a hospital where you're not really exactly sure.
Well, I'm saying there was nobody there to help me at the time that I needed help, because I guess it must have been,
Well,
an off hour.
and that's typical. So I'm trying not to kind of make a generalization, because maybe there are hospitals that have lactation consultants on all the time, but that does happen a lot. I hear of that a lot. And it's also somebody that you don't know, and you don't know how you'll be treated by that person when they come. I know you have spoken before about that you did not have a great, even though the person finally came, it wasn't a great experience.
And then the second person who came after that was wonderful.
Right, that's right. So wouldn't it be great if you could control who that person was?
Yeah, I just didn't know I could.
Yeah, and that, to me, that's the easiest thing to do, is to create that relationship before you ever go into labor, so that person is there for you. And then I just want to touch upon what you said before, as far as bottle feeding versus breastfeeding, or bottle feeding, giving formula if you're breastfeeding. How about, it's such an amazing concept, I think, if we all just, again, treat ourselves like individuals in the moment, having our individual experience, and not plan every little thing in advance.
Well, I guess people made me feel like I was negating the benefits of breastfeeding because I was supplementing.
How about if we decide for ourselves what is best for us?
Gail, I'm asking you what is best for me.
But I think what's best for you is what's best for you.
You know what? I have a healthy, strong son,
That's
so I
right.
guess I did something.
That's right. And in a holistic approach, when you're looking at this comprehensively, what's really important is that you keep your stress level down around it, right? That's a big deal. It's, even talking about it, I can see. I know.
Doing it again?
I know, but you will be able to, and the second time, and once you have all this information, you get the support you need, it could be totally different. That's my prayer.